session of Trudvang Chronicles, the Wildheart adventure. And we will go ahead and get started. If everybody will introduce their character to each other.
Okay, who wants to start?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'm playing Kadir. He is an Agoro Stormlander warrior. That's about it. He likes to think before he gets into a fight, but he's always itching for a fight. But he'll think his way through it before he gets into it.
Cool.
All right, next.
I'm playing Trudvang, however you pronounce that, because I sure can't. He's an Elvish rogue. Yeah, Trudvang. He, what can I say? This is mine.
I guess I'll go next.
Yep.
Okay, I am Magnus, a Dimwalker, and a very devout servant and faithful member of my homeland's religion.
Gerbanius, yes.
Gerbanius, correct.
Or Gerbanus. Yeah, there we go. All right, Mike. Did you go yet?
Yeah, I went.
Okay. And Aaron, then that's you.
So I'm playing Joran. He is a human Stormlander ranger. He speaks Varrock, which is, I guess, their default language.
Yes.
He worked as a Sporulvi, which is what in the book, that's what they call a guide and a tracker. So his primary experience up until now has been guiding people across the wilds of the Stormlands, and he's now kind of hooked up with this group, and they're going to go into Wildheart.
Excellent.
All right, so as we start, all of you chose to leave the boredom that is Dane and decided to accept a mission as the merchant Grisebo's herdman for the journey to Idland. Grisebo argued with you that strong and able people were needed in case they encountered a rogue herdman or hawkish sea wolves on the stormy strait to Idland. Thank heavens the trip went well. And you guys are now coming ashore at the small merchant city called Grim Village in Idland. As you guys dock, Gazebo slaps you all on the back and happily gives you your final payment of 10 silver pieces each when the ship finally lays anchored.
Okay.
All right,
So-
some money.
Yeah.
At last, I could get a drink.
A drink that sitting in.
Other than stale rum.
Yeah. Any money that you guys, we can say that you got, the equivalent of 20 or 30 silver pieces a piece to begin with. Chances are it's not going to be in the form of coins. You're going to have like either bands of silver around your fingers or around your arm that you would then cut pieces off to pay for stuff. Gazebo actually pays you in coin though, rather than giving you silver bands, which most people use.
Is there a reason he gives us that, or is it just the way he does things?
He's a trader. It's the easiest thing for him because he deals in merchant level quality stuff. So
answers the question.
Yeah. Common people tend to use the metal bands. When you start dealing with large levels of trade goods, you're either trading trade goods or they'll do coins.
Gotcha.
All right. As you guys disembark, you can't even get to the end of the dock before a small, emaciated man stops you. He sits behind a rickety table and says with an authoritative voice that all who want to enter the city have to give their names so I can write them onto the home skin. And in front of him sits a large sewn skin made from several cow hides and inkwell and a quill pen. Written on the skin is today's date and the names of all who have arrived in Grim Village so far. In addition, he says that you have to pay 1 silver piece for the freedom to move in the Shield Jarl's grounds.
Well, does this, I mean, not that we have a lot of traveling experience, but does this sound legit? It seems like he seems pretty reasonable, but I don't know. Or does this look more like some street hawker just threw it up at the last minute?
He looks like a public official.
About as legit as he can.
Yeah, about as legit as he can. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm not asking like, does he have a Xerox machine or anything? I just mean, yeah.
No.
I'm just asking.
Does he have his laminated ID?
I need to see your photo. All right. In that case, I'll just kind of shrug and hand him a coin, or I suppose, since I can't clip a piece of the silver off. He actually wants a coin.
Well, 1 silver piece or the equivalent, so you can cut a piece of your band off, or you can give him one of the coins you just got.
Yeah, I'll just give him one of the coins. Save us all the trouble.
All right, and he hands you the pin and tells you to make your mark on the next.
Probably don't know how to write.
I think you can read.
Oh, can I? Oh, wow, that'd be nice.
Yes, you can. You can read and write your native language, which is Brock.
Sweet, I'm ahead of the game. Or can everybody read and write? I don't think that's pretty common.
No, it's not common.
Okay, I will proudly write my name, Magnus, Magnus.
All right.
And I will actually look at my fellows, and I presume I got along with them well enough on the boat.
So I assume, since I have skills in playwright, I can also write.
Well, no, because unless you specifically have the reading and writing skill, you cannot write or read.
You're more of the oral tradition.
I'm an oral tradition playwright.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I don't mean like how you'd play maid.
What that means is that you are a storyteller, like from that old Jim
yeah.
Henson series that was amazing. You tell the stories around the fires.
I say, step aside. And I go up and I scrawl my name out like a child on the sheet.
I put an X.
I'll actually how do you pronounce your character's name? Chris, what is Truriel?
Turiel.
Truriel. I'll sort of gently take the pen quill out of your hand and write it down for you. Or at least as close as I think I can get to it.
Yeah, it's not correct because you're translating from Ica to Stormlander, but it works.
Is it close enough that if somebody read it out loud, he'd recognize at least that it sounds like his name, sort of?
Yeah, I mean, somebody could read it and say Thuriel in strongly accented Vrock, but it would be enough that an elf would understand that you said his name.
I want skill in libel.
I just wanted. The reason I'm getting called the guard shows up, and then they claim that he didn't sign, and then he gets locked up, and that's our first adventure. That's all. Yeah, so just save that kind of shit down the road.
Save those shenanigans for later.
Yeah, so I'll sign your name, and then I'll hand the quill over to the. I don't think the former wilderness survival. I don't think he's signed yet, so I'll hold the quill out to him.
Well, he can't read or write, so he's going to draw a very crude wilderness sign, which means hunter.
Okay.
That's good enough. You see that there's other people that have just made, their personal marks and not have actually done writing.
Right.
Well, that's good.
Right.
Is that enough, Harbor Master, or whatever title you choose to use?
He introduces himself as, let me see if I can pronounce this name. His name is Svardgrim.
Svardgrim?
Yes, Svardgrim.
That's pretty cool.
He is one of the Shard Jarls, the Shield Jarls, Ymintord Silvertooth's men. So that's the guy.
Do you have any religious iconography on him?
He is obviously a follower of Stormy, so the Garbonized religion.
Okay. In that case, I'll give an appropriate greeting.
All right. And it's a good thing that you did pay him, because you can see that he's got several burly looking wild men as kind of official thugs dressed in
Wow.
furs with
Wow, where'd
trophies.
you come from? Sort of look up. Yeah, I was like,
They're kind of standing off behind him because troublemakers need to be dealt with, and he's kind of a skinny, nerdy type man.
I get the sense though that he didn't want them right next to him because his goal wasn't to
intimidate people.
Yeah, it was just to do his job. These
Right.
guys are there just in case people don't want to let him do his job, if I'm understanding correctly.
Right, and they're they look like they've seen a few fights. They're
Gotcha.
wearing wild animal furs, and they've got trophies from their hunts and conflicts, and most of them have scars and battle tattoos and generally a nasty appearance.
Gotcha.
There's a couple of them in there that just happen to be, you can tell they're women from their face, and that's about it, because they're just as heavily muscled as the men and look just as fierce. So in the once you guys sign your name, you can see that a small distance away from Svardgrim stands a large and fat man who's watching everything that's happening in the harbor. Let's see. Once you guys, finish and are looking around, you can see that he eyes you and starts gestures you to come over to him.
Okay.
Shrugs and walks over. Whole point of adventuring, right?
Yeah.
He introduces you as introduces himself as Rimlog Turilov. Trulf. Yeah. I don't know how you pronounce LV together, so we'll just go there. And he says he claps. Mike, what's your character's name again?
Kadir.
He slaps Kadir on the shoulder and says that strong backs and good warriors are always needed around here, and that if you guys ever are looking for a problem to solve, come see him. And he points into town to a stone house on top of the tallest hill near the center of town, and says that you can find him there later if you are looking for any work.
You may very likely see us again soon, friend.
He nods, and as he finishes talking to you, he turns back to the sailors on the dock and starts yelling at some of the cargo handlers to unload the ship faster. It obviously appears that he is in charge of the merchant affairs of this town. As you could probably guess by the fact that he's well dressed and fat.
What? I can't imagine a fat guy meaning he's well off. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially at this point in time.
Yep.
I'm not talking about high carb, high sugar diets. So if he's fat, he probably does really well for himself.
Yeah, and one last thing that he mentions to you, when you guys seem like you might be interested, he says there's many hard things that need to be done around here, since we have to get our preparations done before winter kicks in, because right now it's towards the end of summer.
Okay.
The first cold breezes from the north have started to find their way down, so the countryside has started to change color. Everybody's trying to get ready to settle in for the winter.
Right. I'll look over at my companions. I suppose we found a good time to arrive, eh?
I agree.
There's certainly no shortage of work.
Well, that's good. I would prefer to be able to eat.
I definitely laugh heartily at that.
Jordan's going to make some comment about how city dwellers have to pay for their food.
I think gnaws on a squirrel or something like that.
He's a trapper. He's probably got pelts and maybe some jerky hanging off his belt. That wouldn't be unusual.
I think the idea of him gnawing on a squirrel is hilarious.
By like the really stiff tail of the squirrel.
His squirrel sickle. He's got squirrel sickles he hands out.
It's basically like the squirrel is paralyzed with this like petrified like look on its face and its claws out, and he's holding it by the tail, which is like really stiff because of rigor mortis.
Exactly.
It's like it's still really bushy, and he's like just gnawing it.
Yeah, it doesn't even take the fur off. Just
Yeah, it hasn't even been butchered. He's just gnawing on it.
Like he's a cat or something. He's just chewing on it.
Oh, good Lord.
he offers you the skull because that's the best part. All right. So what are you guys gonna do now?
I will ask the fella here that before we take off. I do want to ask him real quick. You say that in case we'd like to solve a few problems for coin. What type of troubles do you suffer here?
Oh, not too much at the time, other than trying to get our shipments out and shipments in before the weather turns.
Understood. How much longer do we have until then? I'm not from this part of the world, as it were. This specific place.
We've probably got
Fortnight.
well,
more?
until the first snow hits, we've probably got 2.5, 3 months. But
Understood.
the weather's going to proceedingly get colder, and as you know, winters here can last a considerable time. So
yeah, understood. Okay.
All right. So you guys have got a small town here. There's several long houses. You can see that there's some shops. That you've got a town blacksmith. You can see that there is an ale hall. As all good, effectively Viking settlements should have an ale hall.
Well, I'm definitely thinking a drink that's not stale and diluted with seawater would be a good idea.
I second that motion.
What place looks the most appealing to us?
The ale hall.
Well, then let's head there.
I follow the elf.
I follow.
Jordan's
'Cause,
also following.
This is not a particularly large town, so most of it's houses and shops. It's not like it's got restaurants everywhere and stuff like you'd get in a larger city.
Oh, let's stop at that bistro. It's adorable.
I don't know. I'm really looking for a nice cafe.
I see. All right. So I'll just, like I said, I'll just follow the elf. I'm going to kind of be a bit of a tourist, as it were. My eyes are going to go everywhere and kind of drink things in, look at them. Because remember, I'm a young guy and I haven't really probably haven't been more than 10 miles away from my house before.
That's true.
Yeah. They have sheep too.
For a better description of this, for those of you who've played Skyrim, think one of the middle-sized settlements, not the cities.
Gotcha.
Thanks for the image. That actually works pretty well.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit squiggly line, and I'm going to do player.add item.
Oh my gosh. Of course Chris goes there.
I figured that would be an easy image for you guys because Stormlanders are effectively Nords. So,
gotcha.
Skyrim belongs to the Nords.
Somebody here was an adventurer like you until he took an arrow to the knee.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm done.
All right, you go to the ale hall, and this time of day, it's not terribly busy. There are a few, gruffer individuals and some of the old men of town that are in here, nursing a few drinks and telling tales.
I steer clear of anybody with many ranks in the libel skill. All right, yeah, I'll go up and I'll see if I can get myself a drink and find myself a seat that doesn't look like it's going to have a guy telling me he's wanted in 12 systems or anything.
Sounds like a plan.
The death
See if I
sentence in
can't
12
find
systems.
Find me a
Oh.
nice freighter pilot.
I'll be careful.
You'll be dead.
Yeah, but seriously, I'm completely serious. I do go up, I ask for a drink, and I look for a seat that doesn't anger any of the gruff locals. If it seems like it's obviously taken, or
Yeah, I mean,
you have to be part of the community to sit there.
Yeah,
You can learn
there's a
that from
few.
body language. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can tell the tables that are purposely left blank and that they're not claimed by anybody, or those people aren't here this time of day.
Right.
So you guys can get some drink and some hot grub that's better than living off the rations on the ship.
Oh, anything I don't have to pick weevils out of is a good thing at this point.
I agree.
Well, and
Weevils are extra protein.
And if as long as it's not a petrified squirrel too, nothing personal. a little tired of petrified squirrel.
It just doesn't have the same taste as you'd think.
Yeah, I mean the first 3 were great, but after that it just sort of lost its appeal.
Kind of goes downhill.
Yeah,
It gets worse. It's cool. All right. It's like after the first day, he didn't even have the gray squirrels and the red squirrels and the brown squirrels. He just had brown squirrels.
Oh.
Do you have any? Oh man, same flavor again.
All right. I mean, they did get progressively tangier every day, but not in a good way. All right, let's see.
Trudvang, the squirrel dining adventures.
Yeah. So basically, instead of everything tastes like chicken, everything tastes like squirrel.
Nice.
And squirrel tastes like greasy chicken, so
Yeah.
Terribly sad is I used to have a neighbor that really did eat squirrel all the damn time.
One of my friends shot a native squirrel like a couple weeks ago. I was visiting him in Pennsylvania.
So you guys, this place, its food isn't top par. It's basically average. So you guys can get a hot meal and a drink for, let's see, half a silver piece or 50 copper coins if you have copper. But so it's not expensive to eat here.
All right. If I can clip a little bit of silver off the band, that seems reasonable. I'll do it.
I may have missed this during character creation, but I don't know how much money I would have.
I'll give yourself 30 silver plus the 10 he gave you for getting paid.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And that's the same for everybody because we're going to assume that you spent most of your stuff getting your gear because I'm not going to be a gear Nazi on this one. So considering the rules for this game is literally you tell me what you want, and if I don't think it's unreasonable, you get it. So.
Oh, really? Okay, gotcha. Good.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I just picked a few of the starter, like the easy kits. He's got ordinary camping kit, ordinary hunting kit, ordinary weapon kit for his bow, and then a small map making kit because he's got orienteering.
Yep.
And that's literally all I gave him. Other than that, he's got a longbow and a hand axe.
Yeah, and I figure since you're used to surviving in the wilderness, you can have like a camp spade and things like that that you would want. So, okay, yeah, and the way the kits work, depending on whether you get the ordinary or not, the determines the value or the number you have to roll under to see if what you're looking for is in the kit.
Yeah, like a good example would be if you have a camping kit and then you want to know if it contains an extra blanket. Depending on the size of the kit, you make a situation roll that's, modified. The bigger kits have better modifiers.
Yeah, they got more stuff in them.
So it's kind of a neat abstract way to say stuff instead of like painstakingly tracking everything.
Yes, which I prefer, to be honest.
No joke.
Let's see. So you guys settle down, and a rather tall for this day and age, and medium framed but lithe of weight blonde barmaid comes over, giving you guys your meal expertly, and she is polite, but she doesn't hang around to talk much. She's immediately back off into the kitchen or taking orders from everybody else. So,
I'll smile and nod and be polite, but I don't know whose girlfriend that is. So
Yeah, I'd probably not want to get into a fight just yet.
Yeah, not literally the first 10 minutes I'm in town. Thanks.
Although you guys, if you watch her, you can realize that she didn't really look at you at all when she brought her stuff over. She just brought the orders because you catch her when she goes back up to the bar, look in your direction, and then just stare at the elf like she's never seen one before.
Is it quite
Probably
possible she
hasn't.
never has?
It is literally that she's never seen an elf before.
Gotcha.
So she kind of.
Apparently, I'm a novelty.
You are a novelty because you guys stay down in a nifty little tropical island called Sowed and don't go through the rest of Trudvang much.
That's because it's too damn cold.
Say, what the hell are you doing here then?
I don't know. I was an idiot. I lost a bet.
He's a rogue. He did something bad and got kicked out of his tribe. So
I'm sticking with the I lost a bet.
I'm sticking with the fluff for the game when you're a rogue and you're an elf. All right, so I'm assuming you guys eat and drink and relax and enjoy the fact that you're no longer on a cramped ship.
Oh yeah, that was the whole purpose. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the cramped lifestyle.
Yeah, Joran prefers
neither am I.
land to the water, so he's actually still kind of vaguely seasick.
Yeah, well, the ale helps that, as does the hot food. So,
what did they bring us to eat this day?
They brought you a dark brown, obviously not refined flour bread that's fresh, so it's chewy, not hard. So after the week that you've spent on the ship, having bread that doesn't make your teeth ache is nice.
I had forgotten bread didn't need the consistency of a rock.
Yes, and they brought you a what's effectively a fish stew with some hearty tubers, but it's not particularly thick, and it's about 50-50 water. But it's still a good hot meal, and it's fresh. And it looks like it might have been made with the Nordic delicacy of pickled halibut. So it's tasty, and it was well seasoned, and it's definitely hearty. So
Better than what I've been eating for the last week.
Yes, and it's not gruel. So
yep. Any of the locals eyeing us strangely, especially when she looks at him being an elf?
She being, all of
16
or 17 winters is more wide-eyed than the rest of them. The bartender is an old, gruff man with, kind of a poor man's hook in place of one of his hands, and he looks like he's a tough, gruff, old, stormy warrior, so he's probably seen all of it. And the rest of the patrons here are all on the older side, so none of them are terribly doe-eyed at you. One of them kind of looks you guys over and kind of makes a sign at the elf, but isn't really aggressive. You being a cleric, realized that was just kind of more of a not wanting to be inadvertently bewitched by the strange glowy creature.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I hate elf, but just to keep your fayness to yourself.
Actually, you raise an interesting point, Jeff. The Fae in this, are they like they are in SDL? Like basically
no, you're
closer to
talking
actual legends, like they're really looked upon with mixture of awe and terror?
No, what you're talking about in this particular setting is these are like Nordic elves. Um, Ancient people, most of them don't have the long lifespan anymore. They trade with port towns on the southern end of the Trudvang continent. So since this town is to the southern end of this particular large peninsula, the older people have seen elven trading people come in. They're not legends. They're just rare.
Okay.
People know about them and all that stuff, but
Right.
because basically the elves once ruled this world, and then when humans came about, they kind of ran them off because they'd been decimated by the war with the dragons, and then the humans just expanded and they retreated to their island. So
Gotcha.
Imagine that, humans expanding.
yeah, I don't know. That's like they breed like cockroaches or something. All right.
Weird.
So yeah, nobody really particularly bugs you. You can hear, some of the old timers passing legends and stories, and telling generic campfire tales of the stereotypical guy thing of, well, let me tell you this story about me.
Well, Jeff, let me tell you a story about me.
So, so basically, they're just recounting their old times and sharing local gossip and laughing and just that sort of stuff. They're not downtrodden or depressed or obviously not oppressed by the local rulers. They're just killing time, letting off steam. A bunch of old guys getting together to tell the same stories they've all heard 50 times already. So
Is one of them named Carl?
no. So the food's good. By the time you get done finishing your meal, a young boy comes running in to you guys and looks you over and then hands your character, Magnus, Charles, a note. And then he kind of stands there switching his weight from foot to foot, not quite with his hand out, but you get the idea that he wants something.
Do I have any copper coins or something? Because I'm not going to give this guy full silver for delivering the mail.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the equivalent of 30 silver, but you're going to have bands that are copper because not everything is silver. So
Yeah, I'll give him a decent sized piece of copper or something, but I'm not giving him a. Yeah, I'm not. I'll be damned if I give him a full piece of silver for that.
He takes it between his two hands, holding it, but between his thumb and four fingers, and just lights up and grins at you and says, "Thanks, Mister," and runs out the door.
I'll nod. You're welcome.
And you can, when you open the note, you can see that it's just basically rolled parchment that's been sealed with a wax stamp, and when you open it, you can see that it's from the merchant that you spoke to before, who's basically inviting you up for dinner this evening.
Oh, I bet there's even better food there.
That sounds like a possibility. I say we head out when we can.
I agree.
All right, so you guys have got 3 or 4 hours to kill before dinner at this guy's place. Are you just gonna hang out and chill and have some drinks, or what do you want to do?
Actually, that sounds like the best use of our time. Just kind of hang out and get a feel for the area that we're in.
Well, yeah, that's that was my plan at any rate.
Nothing better than the local watering hole to kind of get an idea what the hell's going down.
I think Joran was going to probably meticulously go over his supplies because he just got off the ship. He wants to make sure he's got everything, and he's gonna go find a Fletcher. He wants to get his bow kind of like looked at and see if there might be some extra arrows.
Okay, you can easily find the Fletcher it can be located fairly easily by the sound of a blacksmith's hammer because it's the same dude. So you follow it to the town blacksmith, and He checks over your bow and basically redoes the knot for the top of the string, and then looks at the rest of it. Says, "Yeah, doesn't look like it needs any service at this time." And arrows. Let's see.
I think that would just be like a small weapon kit. I mean, he's already got a weapon kit, so he probably won't be looking for more arrows right now. I think, let me take that back. It was more just to like have, a Fletcher look over his bow, because that's really his most reliable piece of equipment, other than his hunting trappings. So he's just going to be kind of off while everybody's drinking.
Yeah, the blacksmith looks over your bow and sees that it's in serviceable condition. It doesn't really need any tending. He does offer you a couple spare strings if you want.
Sure.
He'll sell those to you for. He'll sell you 3 of them for like 5 copper.
I'll try and trade for some of the small mink and fox pelts I've got.
Yeah, he'll take for 1 mink pelt. He'll give you 6 spare strings.
Okay. Should I just track that as weapon kit ordinary plus bowstrings, like some?
Yeah, just put them on there that you know that you don't have to roll for 6 bowstrings.
Okay.
So should your bowstring snap, you've got spares. They really do not cover ammunition. That's just in the weapons kit. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading. My first run of the system, so I'm not entirely sure I've got it, but
yeah, okay. Well, it's my first run of the system too, so we're all on the same page. I've just read all of it.
I haven't even done that yet.
Yeah. Bad Chris.
I know. Failure. Making money. Terrible guy.
I know, it's terrible. All right. So the rest of you hang out in the ale house and drink and chat, and you learn a little about the town. You learn that it's as much a trading port as it is a small fishing village. The weather here usually isn't too bad. They get a lot of snow in the winter, but they don't suffer a lot of bad storms from the sea on this particular side of the peninsula.
Well, that's good.
And as it gets towards time for you guys to head up to the merchant's house, you notice that some younger individuals start to roll into the tavern, as it looks like they're leaving their jobs and coming in for a drink. So that seems like a good time to head out.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's my cue to leave. Excuse me. I don't want to be sitting in somebody's spot.
All right. So with that, we make our way up to Rimlog's house. And it's a very finely made, large stone house, as opposed to the some stone, some log longhouses that the rest of the people live in. He invites you in. You can tell that everything here is well made and expensive. The house is well furnished. He leads you into a large hall off of the entryway, where there is a very large table that could sit 20 people easily, and a large burning fire to the rear of the hall. On the table are already large chunks of meat, various vegetable dishes, stews, sauces. He's got several horns of meat around to drink with the meal. And he seems to be in very jolly mood as he greets you all and says, welcome to my house. It's not very often that we get new coming herdmen or adventurers here looking for work. Mostly just traders and sailors and fishermen, not too many entrepreneurial types.
Well, what can we say? We got tired of sitting around the house.
I'll chuckle at that.
I understand that. Unfortunately, business has gotten far too well for me to suffer from wanderlust anymore.
That's an excellent problem to have.
I have to
I
manage.
wouldn't mind sharing.
I understand. I have my hands full enough, as pretty much all of the ships you saw at the dock today are mine. So I have
Yeah.
plenty to manage without leaving.
I'll cast my eye around his it's about it around his home and the, I what I presume to be, drinks and food and guests and all. And I'll just kind of look around and I'll say, I look forward to suffering your fate, with an obvious friendly smile, not being an asshole about it.
When you look around, you notice that there's one or two ship captains here, and then the rest of the people that are here for this dinner appear to be his personal herdmen and a couple of his sons. So it's not a particularly big get together. It looks more like he called you here to discuss business.
Gotcha. Well, still, it's sizable enough that to be enviable.
Or to make yet another reference to this game, I bet you're all wondering why I called you here.
Oh no!
I don't have enough cotton in my mouth to do Brando
Oh,
correctly, but
well, the only thing is, if we all sit down and he starts walking around the table with a baseball bat,
I'm gonna be a little nervous.
I'm gonna excuse myself and let Chris take it from here.
I don't know. If he ever looks at you and says, leave the sword, take the cannoli.
Oh,
all right. So he welcomes you all and has general chat, asking about your homelands and the travel and all this stuff as the food is served up, and the meat is cooked perfectly. He's serving you high quality venison, high quality boar. You Yoren realize he's not even serving domestic pig. Give me a hunting check, and add
So-
+4 to your hunting check just to.
Okay, so hunting and fishing, my
Yep.
skill value is 15, so +4 would be 19, and I'm going to try and roll 19 or lower.
Yeah, pretty much. So you're pretty much going to make it on a d20.
Okay, well, I might nat 20 it. I don't know.
That's true. You might.
I actually did. I nat 20 that. So
Okay, you think this is duck?
It's
Yeah, actually-
good duck.
it's hog, but from it's got a different gamey, wilder flavor, and it's a deeper, stronger flavor, like it came from a fattier, more muscle than a domestic hog, but you don't know which kind of wild pig it is. Even though the cuts look like they might have come from an ox, you still don't know what it is.
this definitely isn't squirrel.
No, it is not squirrel. He's
Well,
got pork
in between,
and fish in here.
in between bites of the hog, he's sneaking squirrel from under the table.
I always say I'm just gonna have one, but I can never do it.
So once you guys have endured the generic polite conversation and several horns of mead, and ate your fill, he looks at you and says, I have a business proposition for you. I have need of strong individuals such as yourself to escort a shipment of Draug drops to Garmvang.
I'll lean over quietly to whoever's seated next to me. Deliver what?
Draug drops. They're basically they're kind of a battle hallucinogen. It's a drug. You would know this.
Okay, gotcha.
And because he wants you to deliver them to the battle halls of Garmbang. So he offers to pay you 200 silver pieces in total if you will take the wagons of drops to Garnbang. He lets you know that that's about a 2-week journey to the north, and he would have the wagons prepped for you and all that stuff, and all you have to do is drive and escort them to Garnbang and come back, and he'll pay you 200 silver pieces.
Certainly reasonable to me.
Yeah, certainly sounds like a plan.
Although I do hesitate that I have a feeling this isn't going to be easier said than done.
Well,
Isn't it always?
Yeah.
Yeah, survey says yes.
His statement is basically
What's,
that, in making preparations for the winter, all of his personal herdmen are taken up with either on the trade ships or tending to the stores. He can't spare people to make the overland shipment at this point. So
Gotcha.
Is that an unusually large sum of money for a task like this?
it's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
like,
high pay.
is it enough of a huge chunk of change that it makes us a little like, what are you not telling us?
Yeah, that's sort of my thought.
It's not it's not so much that you think he's paying you to do something you're gonna die for. It's more of he's giving you top scale, shall we say?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
To get you to do this because he really needs that shipment to go, and he can't really spare the people.
Okay. That I can handle.
In other words, he's paying more than he normally would, but he's still going to bank a profit because he would rather get that there and make his money.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. So, what do you guys say?
I
Obviously,
agree.
yes.
Go ahead and
Sure.
agree to it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Well,
Sounds
since
like a plan.
he says, since I need those drops delivered as quick as possible, if you will take the rest of the evening to pick up any provisions or anything that you think that you might need beyond the standard fare to drive the wagons, because I will at the very least provide the same standard rations to get there that I would normally for my own men. And since you're new here, I will at least provide you lodgings in the rooms that are available for my own employees. So,
Oh,
By the
well,
way,
we definitely thank you for that.
I apologize for forgetting this, but what's the name of the town we're in again?
Dane? Dane or
no,
something?
no, Dane was the land that you left. This
Oh,
is
sorry. Grimvong?
Grimbong. No, Grimbong. Hold on. It's just Grim. It's the Grim village.
Okay, so we left Dane. We sailed across.
To
There's a-
Island or Island.
Yeah, I've got like a Trudvang map, and I was just trying to figure out where in the world we were. All right.
You're
That
on the
helps.
west coast of Island.
Okay, cool.
However you say it. I do know that the J is a Y, so that's all I got. All right. So you guys can pick up any gear that you need in form of either upgrading existing kits or picking up kits from the Game Master's guide here, which I don't know that all of you guys have copies of. So if you're looking for specific stuff, let me know and I will tell you what it's going to cost you.
An RPG launcher.
No.
Rations.
Yeah, I like the sound of rations.
Okay, rations.
Rations seems important.
Yeah, he's going to give you guys rations that would make you the full 4-week trip there and back with his
Oh,
wagons.
perfect. Not to impugn our companion's hunting ability, but if I can secure a regular meal, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
I don't think Joran's gonna care if you guys want provisions. That's
Yeah.
I mean, you guys obviously the provisions you're taking are hardtack and salted fish and that sort of stuff. The bare necessities to get you
Yeah, right.
there and back. If you want to supplement your meals, then you'll hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's why I said it the way I did. If I can secure a meal, I'm going to do it.
Let me put it this way. Joking about squirrels aside,
Yeah.
Joran is like, I made him 35, so he's not like a young man.
Oh, gotcha.
He's like somebody who's kind of been around for a while. He's older. He's definitely weathered, and he's survived in the wilderness because of preparation and caution. And it kind of makes him a little bit grim sometimes because like the loneliness and the isolation of surviving out in this like essentially like these extreme wilds is it takes its toll on a person. But yeah. So anyway, he's not offended if you want to bring twice the provisions. Like,
So I have a question for Joran. So how many days is it before he thinks he has to drink his own pee?
Are you kidding? He started already.
Well,
I thought that was part of his daily routine.
I was gonna say it's.
I just wanted to know if he's Bear Grylls or not. Just
why would I wait until I had to when I?
Why would I stop? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Aren't there people that do claim that that's healthy?
How do you think he kept refilling his glass at the table last night?
So anyway, if you wanted to get like a healing kit, Charles, to help with your healing skill under care, you can get one of those.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to pick up like a fishing kit or a hunting kit or a weapon kit or riding kit, thief kit, whatever.
Yeah, I'll pick up a little healing kit, a couple herbs and tinctures and such.
What's the limit to what we can carry? Because I was a little concerned when I gave this guy 3 ordinary kits and 1 small one, which I think fit exactly what his character is designed for, and then like nothing else because I wasn't sure about encumbrance.
We are going to have a wagon, so
I don't think it's our wagon specifically, but I get your point.
No, but
you get a wagon to travel with, yeah.
Yeah, we're traveling with it, so it's not like we couldn't put something on it.
That's a fair point.
Joran would probably recommend that you bring the group bring a large camping kit and like 1 extra hunting kit or 2 extra hunting kits and like 1 or 2 extra weapon kits would be his recommendation.
Yeah, so you can tend to your stuff, yeah.
And not for him personally. It's like a weapon kit could be, I'm sure we could use the weapon kit for like other people, kind of a community weapon kit.
Okay, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, works for me.
Well, yeah, because you do have to buy or maintain stuff in this game, so because it will break.
Gotcha.
And this one doesn't have a direct encumbrance rule, so it's kind of as long as you're not that stereotypical art picture with the guys carrying the sack the size of a wagon on his shoulder and bent over underneath this sack that's 4 times his size. Yeah, you're okay. I'm well aware that unless your strength is really low, that you can do what our current soldiers do, and you can hike with 120 pounds of gear. So,
does that mean I get my M60?
No, just don't go overboard, and we're good. So I'm going to take a brief 5-minute, brief bio break here, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll do the same. That way we're going to stay on schedule.
Yeah. If everybody wants to take a 5-minute, now's the time. So.
I have returned. Maybe.
I have returned as well. In
I
theory.
never left.
I am but a figment of all of your imaginations.
Ugh. All right. So, did anybody decide on what kind of gear they wanted to pick up other than the kits that Jorn mentioned?
Actually, his sounds like a great idea to me.
Okay, so an extra hunting kit, a couple weapon kits,
A large camping kit.
large camping kit. Okay.
That's probably one of the more important aspects.
They're good to have. I also like that this game is one of the few ones that really makes a point of better quality equipment does good things for you.
Yeah, generally that's more of a not exactly way.
Okay, so a large camping kit's gonna run you guys 8 silver. And you wanted another hunting kit, just an ordinary one, or?
Yeah, I think 2 extra hunting kits, ordinary size, mostly because as much as you would want to bring extra provisions,
Yeah.
like it's very possible we could get there could be like injury, there could be sickness, like a plague could sweep through. Joran is just talking from his experience guiding parties across the Stormlands. He's like, you could all get sick, and you have to like bed down for a week, and then you'll run out of supplies. Like there's all kinds of stuff that could happen. So
yeah, and you guys will want a healing kit if you don't.
Definitely need a healing kit.
Yeah. And you wanted another weapon kit or 2?
A couple weapon kits wouldn't hurt.
Okay, so 2 ordinary weapon kits are going to run 4 silver. If you get an ordinary hunting kit, that's 4 silver. A large hunting kit is, or a large camp kit is 8. Do we want a fishing kit because those are separate?
Probably.
Yeah, an ordinary.
Where we're going gonna have the option for fishing?
There are rivers. Rivers always allow fishes. And there are lakes.
I was thinking we might pass a fjord or so.
So yeah,
like
I mean,
a good idea then.
Yeah, those are personal fishing kits, fishing rod, hooks, all that stuff. So as long as there's a river or something like that, you can fish. So a fishing kit, an ordinary sized one, is 1 silver coin. You guys want an ordinary or a large healing kit?
I'd say let's go with the large. That way we can do a multiple lines at once.
All right. Well, the large healing kit is 8 copper. So 8 silver. So that's 8, 16, 20. And then the fishing kit is 1, and a large camp kit is another 8. So 29 silver total.
Okay. Well, I throw in my portion, obviously.
Well, let's see, if it's 29 total and we've got what, 4 guys, 3 guys?
4.
Okay. So 4 times 7 is 28. So we're just 1 shy, so I guess I could throw an extra one in.
You guys could negotiate the guy down to 28 just so it's even.
Gotcha.
I like that.
I guess that would make sense because we are spending a lot of money.
Good portion, and you're working for the guy that runs the trade for the town, so.
Got you. Makes sense.
Because that definitely comes in handy.
Yeah. So
One would imagine so.
It means that they don't mark up on you, so that's good. So you guys get back with your stuff, and he has one of his guards direct you to where the herdmen stay, and you guys get four basically stacks of fur and straw on the ground. Decent beds, but not actually framed beds.
Right.
In a long house on his property. So it's sheltered from the wind and the rain, and it's decently warm, and it's not completely full of people.
I like that, and it's not rocking.
Yeah.
I just want to point out it's not rocking.
It's definitely not rocking.
We'd have much bigger problems if it were.
Yes. Because if the land starts doing the ocean thing, then bad things.
Yes.
I feel like if the land starts doing the ocean thing, we're going to have to reconsider taking this trip.
I think you got bigger problems than that, because L waves do not like structures or people on the surface of the earth.
What are they? Are they the deep dwarves or something of some sort?
No, L waves are the waves that roll along the surface of the earth when an earthquake happens, and literally make it roll like waves on the ocean.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. If it's that strong, bad things. All right, so I'm assuming you guys, settle down for the night. You've been well fed. You've been well drunk and equipped.
Yep. Time for a little non-gay spooning.
Because you guys are all probably feeling a little warm, because it's not like that guy had cheap mead. So
Dibs on Big Spoon. Oh, you were joking?
Yeah.
someone's got to be the little spoon. So
And I am 7 feet tall, so I'm not going to be Little Spoon.
Yeah, the half ogre is not going to be Little Spoon.
I just can't even imagine that.
It would actually be kind of funny if the ogre needed comfort and became Little Spoon. By choice.
By
I could always
choice.
a little comfort sometimes.
We all need assistance.
All right, so your night passes without issue, because you're actually getting to sleep under a roof with a fire and all that fun stuff. So you sleep better than you have in at least a week. And when you get up in the morning, he meets you. Romlog meets you out there and escorts you to the 2 prepared wagons that are covered or carrying several kegs of the drog drops, and then one of them is mostly full with provisions that you guys will need for the month travel.
I like that. I assume we can find an easy enough space for our kit so that we're not just terribly weighed down.
Oh no, you've got plenty of room in the second wagon to put your stuff in.
Excellent. I suppose there's no time like the present than to get started.
Let's mosey on.
Yep, and it's a fairly warm day. The sky's clear. The sun is not yet beating down upon you, because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Gotcha. Well, we'll get to loading or doing whatever I need to do.
Yeah, it takes you just the better part of half an hour to get everything situated and tied down and finish the last work on the wagon, and you are off.
Well, I always knew Charles was off.
Yeah. Thankfully,
Just a little.
the way to the Garm whatever village, whatever it is, it's Garmvang. is a pretty well-worn cart track. It could almost be considered a road. So it's pretty easy to follow, as there is, regular trade between this town and the other. And you pass through what's mostly tamed country. You're in rolling plains. You pass a few peasant farms out on the distance. Your first day goes without issue. Even though you set up watch for camping over the next couple of nights, this area is pretty much tame. So you don't have any real encounters other than running into a few other people on the road, carts going south towards Grim Village. You have a few cows wander by your camp one night, but for the most part,
Are they grizzly cows?
yeah, there's regular cows. But for the most part, the land in this area, particularly around the road, is pretty well tamed. Like I said, there are plenty of farms, at least for the first few days of the journey. As you continue farther north, the rolling plains start to be broken by more and more trees. Towards the end of the 2 weeks is really when the land really starts to change. More and more trees tower towards the sky. And the land starts to get more hilly. As you guys make camp for the night and settle down and start setting up your watches, a cold and nasty fog begins to raise from the ground and envelop the land in which you have camped.
No, that's not ominous as hell.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, Charles. It's not D&D.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to spoil it, but yeah, that was my thought. It's like, and Jeff switches to Ravenloft.
No, it's not Ravenloft.
Yeah.
All right. So even though you have this eerie night, let's see.
Can Joran actually see if he can? I don't know if this would work. He's got Weatherman, and I know that's for predicting the weather, but would that be an appropriate role to understand if the weather was unusual?
Yeah, you can roll it. Yeah, just give me a straight roll.
Okay. Nope, he's not going to make it.
Okay. It looks normal to you, especially given that you're approaching fall. And so the night passes eerily quiet.
I definitely say a lot of prayers during the night.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that being in that situation would be off-putting, especially for someone in his circumstances.
Yeah, and considering that the people of Trudvang believe that the gods walk in the fog, and that the fog thins the barrier between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead.
Then in that case, I was right. Yes,
Yeah.
I pretty much pray the whole night through, and I'll take a level of exhaustion if I have to, because that's just what I would do.
Okay. So you guys pass the night. You do your various watches. The fog gets thicker throughout the night. And let me look up real quick how the not sleeping thing works. Because they have rules for it. Because, yes.
They have rules for everything.
They do. At least as far as surviving in the wild.
Now, my deity accepts sacrifices, correct?
Your deity gives you extra divinity points for blood gifting, yes.
Can I cut myself as a sign of sacrifice, or no?
No, it's sacrificing animals.
Other things? Okay.
Yeah, other things.
In that case, I'll do whatever small ritual that I can to show my fealty and ask for their protection throughout the night.
Jordan's gonna tell Magnus if I stayed awake every night, that's some strange way, because Jordan didn't recognize that the fog was unnatural.
Right.
He's just gonna tell Magnus is if I stayed awake every night that I've seen strange weather in the wild, I wouldn't have slept a wink in the last 30 years. So he's gonna say rest easy.
I appreciate that. Well, I have to articulate it because it's not something my character is actually going to say.
Yeah.
But it's just very much an expression. You can tell that there's gratitude, but I am who I am, and the world is what it is. So, you can't put an old head on young shoulders, if you get what I mean, Aaron.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm grateful, but I just sort of, thanks. I appreciate it, but you can see I'm still scared.
So,
I'm still worried.
Charles, the information about the sacrifices and how your religion looks at it starts on page 155 of the Player's Handbook.
Player's Book, got it. Yeah, 155.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just
I got it up right now. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So when the sun rises and before it burns off the fog is still incredibly thick. Let's see. Let me get back to my place because I shifted to a dice roller. Bad DM.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, so as you all are waking up and making breakfast, one of you notices that a man has emerged from the fog and stands next to a large tree in the distance.
Oh, well, that's not at all freaky.
His gray cloaks are wrapped tightly around his body, and a sparkling silver buckle holds the clothes together. The man looks pale and old, very old. For what seems an eternity, he stands and watches you, only to be engulfed by the fog once again. Just before the man disappears, he raises his knotty staff and points it at you. Thereafter, a cold wind sweeps forth over the landscape, and the fog momentarily becomes so thick you cannot even see the hands in front of your faces.
Joran is cursing, damn Vintner Weavers.
I'll chuckle and I'll say, Joran, don't worry, it's just weather, and I'll give a wink, like just a friendly tease, like, oh yeah,
yeah. Well, he's cursing and he's saying, "Damn Vintner Weavers."
Okay, yeah.
And he says, "Okay, like everyone, he's gonna say, everyone, listen to each other's voices, gather into a close circle, and wait for this to pass, because there's some unnatural fog. This is an unnatural fog."
Can I get my hands on rope real quick, Jeff, or no? Is there any rope within reach of me?
Yeah, I mean, you can find it pretty easily. So
okay, I'll snatch a piece of rope, throw it around my waist, and start handing it around everybody that's next to me.
All right.
Tie it up.
I don't know what's going to pull us into the fog.
You guys stand,
I don't know.
and there are things in the mist.
Yeah, I'm playing it like I am.
All right. So where's the army guys? Where's the army guys?
You guys stand around and wait in the center of your camp for the fog to let up. When it finally lets up, and you can begin to see the landscape around you, it is quiet, unnaturally quiet. You can hear your own breathing as a whisper in the moist air. A white morning fog blankets the whole landscape. The faint light that filters down through the embracing branches of the trees casts strange shadows, and the forest surrounds you like an ancient guardian. Impressive pines, thicker than 3 men around, rise toward the sky like protectors of the forest. What or whom they protect, you dare not even dream of. Everything is covered in thick, moist moss that has clung to the landscape since the forest was young. From the moist insides of the moss, small yellow mushrooms and other vegetation grow. The pine needles lie thick on the forest floor, and you perceive that the forest hides many secrets beneath its flourishing surface. A single hoot breaks the silence. Somewhere nearby, a dry branch breaks. With watchful eyes, you stare into the dark forest to see what it might have been. The shadows make no sounds and refuse to give up their secret. Never before have any of you seen such a bushy and untamed nature. It is as if the forest has stood untouched since the dawn of time, and has grown wilder and wilder as the seasons have passed.
So, okay, so we're suddenly, as the fog cleared, surrounded by this incredibly thick forest.
Incredibly thick, incredibly ancient forest, yes. When you camped, the
Guys,
tree-
this does not look like the same place.
yeah, the trees were beginning to, you're moving into forest when you camped. Like there were more and more trees sprouting towards the sky, but it had not yet gotten to the thickness of deep forest.
Do we have our cart with us and everything that we brought? Do we still have it within reach?
God, I hope so.
You have the carts because you guys are still at a glade just big enough for your campsite, but you can tell that traveling in this wood, the carts will be useless.
By the way, what was pulling the cart? That wasn't clear to me.
It was me.
Oh, just horses.
So are the horses still there?
The horses are still there.
Okay. I guess, does Joran recognize any of the flora or fauna as being unusual, like plants or animal life that isn't really supposed to occur in the Stormlands?
You can give me. Let's see. Jordan. Give me a botany roll.
Okay, natural one.
Okay. The fir trees that grow here are common to the Stormlands. This forest does have a high propensity of what would normally be a fairly rare tree, but is still native to the Stormland, known as a copper oak. Everything here appears to be mostly nature or natural native fauna. You can't see anything that sticks out as otherworldly or corrupted or anything like that.
So just natural, basically just raw nature, but like very old, very untouched nature.
Pretty much.
Okay. So like most of Trudvang.
Yeah, pretty much. But this is particularly ancient. Like I said, you've got fir trees that are bigger around than 3 men standing together. So 6+ feet trunks, 2.5 meter wide trunks or more. And then they shoot up, probably 50, 75 meters. So it's old and the trees are old. And the layer of pine needles and moss is thick and undisturbed.
So basically, people haven't walked through here in, as far as we can tell, forever.
Pretty much. It may not have been touched by people in this particular area.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm right.
Okay. So I guess after like looking around, Joran would probably relay that to the rest of the companions and say, these are woods that neither men nor elves nor dwarves have set foot in for, as near as I can tell, ever.
Then obviously we've moved off the path.
Well, then
And
something happened last night.
Clutching whatever holy symbol I have.
It's definitely not the place in which we left.
Can Jordan tell which way we were headed? I know that that's a tough one. Orienteering and cartography, but that involves using the stars and stuff. I'm not really sure.
You know that you were heading north when you bedded down the previous evening.
Okay. I guess he would try and determine which direction is north.
Well, that's easy. Look which side of the trees have moss on them.
Jeff, I have culture knowledge, and I have. No, I guess it would just be culture knowledge. And is there any kind of stories that match this experience or this fellow that we saw and who suddenly disappeared from our view?
Yeah, you can give me a roll with a -2 to your skill value, and try to roll under it. It's going to be a hard one. So.
So, as a storyteller, do I know any stories that sound familiar, even if I've always thought they were complete bullshit?
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm going. Exactly. Yeah, we're going same direction, if not the same path.
As most of your stories come from sowed, you know.
Okay.
Now, what exactly am I rolling, Jeff?
You should have a skill value for your cultural knowledge.
Yep, it's yep.
And you just want to take 2 from the skill value. So.
Okay. Skill value. Make sure I just had it up. Cultural knowledge, Stormlander 1. Religion, Gerbanus 1.
Okay, so cultural. Wait, hold on. Let me look at your exact thing. Because your base skill under knowledge determines your base skill value, and then you get 2 for each, or 1 for each discipline and skill. So, wait, that's the player's handbook. That will not have his character in it.
No, I'm on page 116, I believe. I can double check. Yep, 116. I have knowledge SV5, cultural knowledge Stormlander 1.
Okay, so if you're using just base your cultural knowledge Stormlander, your skill value is 6, so you'd have to get a 4 or below.
I did not. I got an 8.
Okay. You don't recognize any particular tales. You do know that this particular section of the Stormlands has a very large forest on it known as the Wildheart.
Would I know any lore or legends about Wildheart?
I think from the introduction to the adventure, which Jeff, you posted in Facebook,
yeah,
most people tell stories of Wildheart around their hearths. It's actually like a fairly known legend in the Stormlands.
Yeah, they have stories about people that entered, never leave, and stuff like that. But the actual legend of the forest, you guys would not so much know yet.
Can I roll for that?
You can roll to remember the camp stories, but yeah.
That's a 6 and a 12.
Yeah, so you've heard you remember the legends about the forest that is old as the land itself. It was here when most of the people for the Stormlands. You know the campfire stories that those who enter don't leave. You remember some of the old wives' tales people tell their children to keep them out of the forest. But yeah, that's all you got of it is the folktale stuff.
so we should definitely go in.
It sounds like we're already in.
We're already in as far as we're in up to our ears.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
in.
I don't think we have a choice, really.
Go further. Let's just hike it through.
So, yeah, Joran, as a man who's spent his life in the wilds of the Stormlands, is going to say, whatever the legends, it is just nature, and nature can be conquered by men of wit.
Well, I am glad you have such a positive outlook on this. Humans always thinking you're in control.
Joran's also going to search for signs of the old man, even though we are not anywhere near where he was when we saw him.
Maybe he came along with us, so yeah, that's reasonable.
Joran is definitely going to be eyes wide open, trying to see, because if there's some foul magic that's brought us here, he would want to know, is this Weaver, if it is a Vintner Weaver, still somewhere nearby?
Okay, well, you know the direction that he was standing in. That's not going to be difficult to obtain. Give me a tracking roll to see if you can find any sign.
All right, success. 11 out of 15.
Okay, you get back to and you think you find the exact tree he was standing next to, but there isn't so much as disturbed pine needles or an impression in the moss.
Okay, obviously Joran is going to relay that to all of his companions and say, I'm nearly certain this is where he was, but there's no sign.
Does it look right to us, Jeff? Those of us that saw him?
It looks like the same tree. I mean, as much as you can tell the difference between.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. Context.
All seem to kind of look like the same tree.
Says the elf.
Yeah.
Well, since Joran succeeded on his roll, he would probably point to various features on the tree.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
That he would, stuff and,
yeah.
and broken branches up that you can tell that. Yeah,
you can tell it's the tree he was standing near because it's got a broken branch here, leaves over in this section, and an old man standing next to it. There he is.
There is no old man. The old man is a lie.
Well, at least the cake isn't a lie. That's a good thing.
Cake is always a lie.
Charles, we have some bad news for you. No.
The cake is a lie. Why is it a lie? Well, because there was cake, but I ate it.
Oh, chubs.
All right.
Jeff is fat.
Hey, who doesn't eat cake? Oh wait, other than Seth. Seth is.
No, Seth likes cake. He doesn't like pie.
What? What is he, a communist?
He's a heretic.
We have asked that.
I was going to say, who eats cake instead of pie? What's wrong with you? If you have to choose, what
I vote both.
Pie.
I vote both. Cake
Well, yeah, that's why I had said if I have to choose. But anywho, we're getting off topic. The old man has disappeared. We found the tree where we believe he shaded himself, and no sign of him or his passing.
Yeah, none at all.
Old man, look at my life.
Oh God.
I think Charles wants me to sing.
No one wants you to sing.
That was my Neil Young impersonation.
Jeff, I have such a Buddhist voice.
You lie.
You're just jealous of the awesomeness that is my voice.
Sopranos break glass because they hit the right vibration. You break glass because it loses its will to live.
All right. Well, we're not going to get anywhere just standing here looking at this tree. So,
all right. So,
gather up our items. Is there any of the people that were with us? Well, were there people with us, or was it just us and the horses?
It was just you and the horses.
Yeah. So, is the forest sufficiently thick that there's no way to ride the horse or anything like that out?
You definitely can't do the cart. And given that this forest is got, random moss covered boulders and rocks everywhere. You figure that the horses probably would only be marginally useful, and there may be areas where it's too thick.
So, are the horses going to die if we leave them alone?
No, the horses will be horses.
Horses will be horses.
There's plenty of green stuff, and they'll find water. So now, if you don't untie them from the cart, they'll probably die.
Yeah,
But
that would be my thought. I'll get to untying them.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and unhitch the bridles and let them do whatever they want to do. And I say we take everything that we can reasonably carry with us. And based on what we know, or based on what others know of this Wildheart area, what would be do you think would be the quickest way out? Is there a direction, or should we just flip a coin, basically?
Could I ask where we were headed when this happened? We were headed towards what was the destination?
you were headed to Garmthang.
Is that on a map somewhere? If I was looking at a map of the Stormlands.
It's so small, I don't think it's on a map.
Okay. But is it in the Stormlands, or is it just?
It's in the Stormlands. It was just to the north of Grim Village.
Oh, so like if we're in Wildheart, we're probably way past wherever that was.
Or in the general vicinity, you just got off track. Yeah, it's definitely not on the world map, and it wasn't on the adventure map, so.
Well, I would say we need to find the forest border. So whatever direction, I think if Joran has seen I don't know if maps are common. If he's seen maps of the Stormlands, like if he would have ever seen a map of the expanse of Wildheart, so he would basically have some idea, like, well, what direction do you think we should head in if we try to get to one of the borders?
Well, the problem you've got is that Wildheart is massive. Massively massive.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
Can we see the mountain range? Do we have some sense of distance? How far we are from the western side of the forest?
All you see are trees.
Damn it, trees! Get out of the way.
You're deep in the forest.
So we can't see the forest for the trees, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, where is the most civilization, to the north or the south of the forest?
You've got all along the coast there, because the forest comes down close to the western part. Let me zoom this picture here and I'll screen share it to you. I just had to find a good picture. So let me get over to screen sharing.
Make sure you close the hentai tab first, Jeff.
Always.
I don't know. It depends on which one we're talking about. I may want to see that.
All right. I'm going to screen share, so we're going to have a brief moment of inception. All right. So can you guys see that map that's on my screen?
No.
No.
Okay. I'm supposed to be able to present. There we go. Screen share. Now we Inception.
No.
Okay. Still don't see the map?
No,
Nope.
not I. Anybody else? No.
It might be a problem with the fact that we're live.
It could be.
I blame Chris.
I did do it.
I figured.
Oh. Because we have double step freaking let's see.
Chris, why did you break Jeff's computer?
Like Jeff.
Okay. At least you're honest. And that's something to be said, right?
Exactly.
And of course, Google Hangouts doesn't see the pictures app, so we can't just share that one. So we will share the screen and Inception.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now do you see the map?
There it goes. There you are.
Okay, I can see the map now.
Okay.
But the
So-
Inception was better.
Right here is Grim Village, where you guys
I
started
gotcha.
out. And you wound
Gotcha.
up over here in Wildheart.
So it looks like to me, no matter where we are in Wildheart, we are best to either travel south or east.
Or even west. I mean, west would probably take us
Unless
back
we're-
towards.
Unless we're way far north, in which case we'd find the coast before civilization.
And no more Inception. Damn it.
You just like inceptioning things.
Inceptioning things is fun.
Well, without a better plan, I mean, why don't we just pick a direction and move? Joran would say we should go west because it's back towards the western edge of the forest, and then we'll be able to find our way, south back to that village we came from, or wherever else we were supposed to be going.
Very well. Let's head west then.
All right. So give me a orientating roll, if you would.
Was it geography? Okay.
Yeah.
Modifiers?
No, just do it straight, just to make sure that you're actually can tell which direction you're going in a place full of trees.
Unfortunately, these are my D&D dice. They're rolling way too high. Unfortunately,
I should
Chief.
use my D&D dice. They always roll way too low.
yeah,
But
sorry,
my
man.
D&D dice, like, crit failing.
I was playing Simbaroom with Mike, and I was rolling great with these other dice. I'm gonna go get them.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sorry, he failed his roll. So he has no idea which direction he's going.
Well, you think you're heading west.
I mean, I've got, like, hunting experience. I don't know if that would help.
So far, the ranger's been pretty useless. I hope I'm wearing out the bad luck on these dice.
We will see.
Well, so far, the thievy bastard hasn't had anything to really thievy.
See, the problem that I have is that my dice know which game I'm playing and then decide to roll appropriately, and it's usually bad.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because they hate me.
I mean, I switched my D20, so
All right. Well, if you want to re-roll with the new one, I won't be so mad.
no, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
We're gonna stick with what we got. Fair is fair.
And that's how you can tell you're playing with a whole bunch of people that generally run the games. They take whatever the hell they roll.
Yes, my
Yeah,
roll was crap, but I'll deal with it.
That's kind of funny. I usually do run rather than play. So
Ditto.
So when yeah, I'm in the same boat, to be honest, but when the fog finally burns off, it's a decently warm day. It's not overly warm, but it's not going to get overly warm underneath the canopy because you're getting like 20% of the sunlight down here, so it's pretty dark and gloomy and kind of green cast from all the sun filtering through leaves. All right. So the terrain is pretty hilly and the forest is thick, so let's see. You guys are going to move. You figure without forcing yourself, you can probably make about almost 4 kilometers in a day's worth of marching. The train is, or of walking, because the terrain is that thick. And that's if you don't hurry. If you march, you can get a little bit better in 8 hours, but that's basically walking. For 12 hours, you guys can cover about 4 kilometers. Because you've got to navigate the hills and then work your path through the thick undergrowth and between the trees, and there's nothing like a straight shot. But as you guys travel, you hear occasional sounds of animals. You hear birds mostly. Occasionally you see something small like a squirrel or a fox go running by. The forest is vibrantly green, you know, viridian levels. So the moss is thick and, you know, as emerald isle green as you can get. Your footsteps don't make a whole lot of sound because you're walking on a spongy ground of centuries of pine needles. The trees are ancient and quite thick. You can see here occasionally there are younger growths where there's been a tree fall and enough sun has been let out to let a younger tree grow. But most of the trees around you are ancient and hoary and carry that presence that makes you think that they've got a mind of some kind that you will only ever feel if you've been in the presence of something like the General Sherman or the Redwoods. You get the general feel that they're so ancient that they've got a presence to them more than just being a tree.
Aha, said the blind man.
To his deaf wife.
Yep. All right. So go ahead and give me a camping roll, because after a long, hard day of sloughing through rolling hills that are heavily forested, let's see if we can find a camping spot.
I'm guessing I'm the best camper.
I'm guessing you're the
Probably.
only camper.
I got 15 skill value in camping,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
probably the best camper.
but I haven't been rolling well, so you know I'm just double checking with the rest of the team. Maybe someone. Okay, got it. So he rolled a nat 1 that time. My rolls are bipolar.
Okay. You not only find yourself a good camping site, you find yourself a perfect camping site where there's actually a bed of moss-covered pine needles underneath an overhanging rock that would shield you from any weather, and you're not going to get a root or a stone in the back as you sleep.
I like that.
And strangely, such a perfect spot is not inhabited by anything. So you found the perfectly hidden sleeping spot.
Lies.
So I think Jordan is also, by the way, he has that small map making kit.
Yep.
And it's you know, I guess a huge part of figuring out where you are and how to get where you're going in, you know, the wilderness of Trudvang is probably making rudimentary maps as you go. I don't know that there's any rules for it, but I was just going to mention that he's probably starting to try and sketch some landmarks. Like this perfect sleeping spot would be a landmark that he would want to write down.
Yeah, I mean that's a wonderful thing to try to write down.
I think so.
I'm going to start taking notes, actually. Grab some index cards. All right.
Did they really not put that in the online version? That's annoying. All right, so now I will open the PDF because putting things in your online tools is apparently too much to ask sometimes.
Good lie.
And the only thing that I wish they would have done to improve these PDFs is that they would have bookmarked them.
Huh.
Yeah, there's no bookmarks.
Ah, I so rarely use bookmarks. I usually just flip through and make my own. If something specifically jumps out at me as a necessity. So I guess I'm not accustomed to actually looking for bookmarks pre-made. So yeah, now that you say that, I just went, oh yeah, they're right. There aren't any. I use word search a lot too, though, so that doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes that's helpful, sometimes not so much.
Yeah. True, depending on what you're searching. Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm still a purist and prefer paper, but I don't know. I've moved enough and gamed enough. I'm really enjoying PDFs to be perfectly frank.
Well, I honestly preferred paper for the reading, and if I'm going to be running in person, but if I'm online, it's just as easy to use the PDFs.
I like the searchability. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, that's me. I'm with you there. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you put a gun to my head, I think I'd have to choose PDFs. Just because the searchability is just so helpful.
I would agree with the searchability aspect of it, but I've gamed for so long out of paper books, I can find stuff. Just it's easy.
Yeah, I confess you do have a knack for it, because there's been a couple times I say I can't find it, and you'll get back to me and go, oh, it's right here. It's on this page. For whatever reason, I don't know. I just don't have the same knack that you do for it. I do prefer the searchability. Plus, again, I've moved so often. Books are a pain in the ass. I'm old now.
Oh, they're fucking they're nightmares to move.
If I ever end up in a place where I think, you know what, I'm going to live here for the next 40 years till I die, or 20 years, at least 20 years, it's like, okay, then I might start getting books again. But until then, it's like, nah, screw it.
That's why the last few times I've moved, I've just paid people.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you, but I'm just saying it's just. I don't get me wrong. I mean, I was just like you, Jeff. I grew up with paper too, and I still do see the merits of it aesthetically, certainly. But at this point,
I love it for reading. I'm kind of the same opinion that for the enjoyment of reading the book, you can't really, because I've seen the books in the stores and I'm like, wow, this is great. But I have the same thing. Like I've downsized over the last couple of years, so I don't really own much anymore.
Right.
And it's just like, all right, I'm happier that way in all other areas of my life except for gaming and my book collection.
Yeah.
But it's like, whatever, I can still have the best of both worlds, I guess.
I'm going to be honest that like 95% of what I own is dead trees.
Oh, so, yeah. And again, don't misunderstand my statement. I didn't say that it was crap and people are fools not to like digital more. That I didn't. I said no such thing.
I don't think that's how it came off at all. I don't think anybody interpreted it that way either.
No, I didn't take it that way at all.
Thank you.
Will it offend you if I interpreted it that way? Because then I will definitely interpret it.
I know you will, Dick.
I mean, if you want, I can interpret it that way too.
Nah, I can at least see Chris to punch him. I don't know where you are. So, no, don't interpret it that way.
All right. Well, I'm in Tampa. I don't know how close you are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, when I go down to punch my dad, I'll swing by and get you too.
Hey, I can punch him tomorrow if you need me
Yeah,
to.
I appreciate that. I'll leave a message for him. But I appreciate you saying so, though, guys. Yeah, I mean, I do like it. It's the searchability really gets me because I mean, like I admit, Jeff, you have a knack for it where you're like, oh, I found it. Because what the hell with that Zweihander issue? I had
You mean
yeah.
the
You're like,
tome
oh, here it
of
is.
utter destruction?
Yeah, but it was some like really, and I mean, back me up on this one, Jeff. It was understandable that I missed it because it was
Yeah.
they printed the same thing twice, but in the second position they skipped one really important sentence and didn't reprint it. And I
Yeah.
was like, what? And then he goes, no, it's back here. And I was like, how the hell would I remember that?
That's just owed to me having far too good of a memory, and not that I'm any particularly good at searchable. I just knew what section it was under. Okay, so in this particular section of the forest, visibility is about 10 to 15 meters, varying in spots.
Okay.
So it is very thick forest.
Serious question regarding the visibility. Is that because the mist has returned here, or is it mainly just because of the density of the foliage?
That's about as far as you can see before everything blends into tree.
Okay, gotcha. That's fine.
Yeah.
Density of the foliage, then that's fine.
Yeah.
With trees, yeah.
That's as far as you can see before all you see is green and bark color.
Gotcha.
So, all right, so your night goes pretty uneventful. I'm assuming that you guys set up watches.
Of course. We're in an unfamiliar territory now.
Yeah. So you hear when the ranger takes his watch, he hears in particular that there, at least in this area of the forest, there's a good amount of nocturnal animal activity. So you get the general idea that it's not particularly life-threatening in this area.
Okay.
Well, that's at least a pleasant idea to have.
Yeah, we might be able to get some sleep, as it were.
Slept like shit last night.
Yeah, I don't think I slept at all. I'm still dragging. My eyelids are heavy. Because remember, I stayed up last night praying.
Yeah. You guys get a good sleep in this particular spot. So due to his camping role, this doesn't go against your days in the wild at all.
Nice.
So
you guys repeat that more often.
Get made up for all the other failures I rolled before that camping roll. So
so did the squirrel. I mean, that at least softened the blow a little bit. The squirrel sickles were of a help.
Squirrel sickles were always helpful.
I mean, he's not even eating the rations. He's just going through his squirrels.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you guys don't want to eat.
You don't eat your dinner, you can't have dessert. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, if he offers you guys if he offers you the tail, guys, just say no because it doubles as his toothbrush. So.
Oh yeah.
It's bad all the way around. Okay, so when you guys wake up in the next morning, it's a clear morning and there is little to no wind through the forest. Thankfully, the thick canopy keeps the temperatures in the 65 to 70 range, so it is comfortable even without air movement.
Well, at least we're not dying.
No, you're not dying. At least not yet.
At least we didn't die.
You could be dying, but you're not.
Yeah. Ranger, where we head to where we headed to today?
So okay, is everybody looking at Joran to?
Yeah. We're kind of looking at the only guy that really has an idea what the fuck's going on.
Joran is going to attempt to continue heading west to where he thinks the edge of the forest could be.
Okay, give me another orientating roll.
All right, hang on. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, team. Failed again.
That's all right. Do what we can. Do what we can.
The best thing about orienteering is, as far as you know, you succeeded, but we're just heading the wrong way.
Yeah, as far as he knows, he's going west. But
dude,
yeah.
I like wish we were playing D&D. I would have killed everything. I would have burned down the forest by now with an axe. That would
Think about it.
That's
This is
how
why
high.
I'm glad that Jared, our friend Jared, isn't playing in this game because
Oh shit!
he rolls ones on d20s like it's going
Nobody's
out of
business.
style. Yeah.
Apparently, when I'm playing Simbaroom, that's what I do. And now that I'm playing Trudvang, it's the opposite.
Not to go too far off topic, just very, very briefly, is Simbrum any good? I started to watch an actual play of that on some fellow's YouTube channel that I like, but I didn't get a chance to finish it.
Is it True Mass Games?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm in his campaign for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I like him. His Alex, I think his name is. He's excellent.
Alex is fantastic. Yeah, Simber's really good. I'm a huge fan.
Okay. I'm just curious.
I've run it. The system is easy. It's pretty narratively good. It's worth trying. I mean, if you want to jump into a Simbaroom game, I could run one for you sometime.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. I'll definitely I'll check my schedule, and we'll get back to you at some point during the before or after a Trudvang game. And we'll
Okay.
compare it because I'd like. I mean, I'm not asking anybody to dedicate a month to it. I just like a session. I'd like to see how it goes because it really is interesting.
What's
And I
your
really
last?
do like Alex.
What's your last name? Because I can friend you on Facebook.
I don't have Facebook, so it's all right. We'll talk over. I'll
Okay.
send you my information. I'll DM it to you or something over.
Yeah, we'll
Trudvang.
cover that at the end of
Yeah.
the session when I
No worries.
go off.
Yeah, I
being
didn't mean to
live,
get. I
so.
didn't mean to get too far off. Sorry, I apologize. They brought it up, and I was just like, you know what? I want to.
No biggie. All right, so you guys travel in your direction, and after you've traveled for 4 or 5 hours,
Under the same tree.
not quite the
we're
same tree.
walking in circles around a particularly large pine, and Joran is insisting that it's not the same.
All right, so you hear a growling and snoring sound from the shadows beneath a large fir. The faint light filtering down through the compact mesh of branches illuminates a pair of enormous feet that poke out from underneath the giant fir's lowest branches.
I believe in the fuck that.
Yeah, Joran is obviously, if he spots it, because he's. I guess if we had a marching order, Joran is probably trying to lead the way, so he could do pathfinding, and he would have seen it first. He would warn everybody and say, "These are giant feet sticking out."
Yes.
Okay. He would just say, "We need to steer well clear of whatever that beast is." Could be like a giant troll or an ogre.
Yeah, definitely, without doubt.
No, they're bigger than that.
Oh,
they're bigger than that.
Troll or ogre feet?
Yeah, they're bigger than troll or ogre feet.
Would we even understand what this creature is?
The one that's got monster lore can check.
Riddle me this, Batman. I got a success on that. 5 under 12.
Okay, you're pretty sure that this is a sleeping giant.
Do we wake it up?
Probably not.
Is he
I don't know. I mean,
what be friend or foe?
You guys don't know where you are, and you haven't run into anything intelligent yet to be able to tell you whether or not where you are or anything.
Does anybody know whether giants are notoriously friendly or not?
Would the giant man know?
Well, it depends on the giant.
You boys want to take a risk?
No. Joran is steadfastly against waking a sleeping giant.
I actually tend to agree with Joran in not waking the sleeping giant. That seems like could end extraordinarily poorly for us. As in, we chose the wrong grail.
All right, I'm going to hold my finger on the page before I wake up the giant. And then I'm going to... Who thinks I should wake up the giant?
Why not?
Why not?
I think the only one that really wants the giant awoken He's
It's
the guy
Jeff.
running the game.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could. Is it well? The forest is thick, right? Couldn't we outrun him conceivably?
Yeah, we could, but like
Yeah.
maybe if he lives here, he might know a way out, and maybe we could do a favor for him or something, and he'll help us out.
I'll take my chances. As in, I'll take my chances finding my way out without him.
Well,
He could be one of
what
those
I'm thinking-
He could be one of those Skyrim giants where he hits you and you go flying into the stratosphere. And technically, you're out of the forest.
That's
Okay,
true.
hold on. Out of character, real quick. Are like in Norse mythology, are giants typically like helpful? Can they typically be helpful?
It depends on the kind of giant.
I'm good.
So they go from they're like people. So individual giants might be unhelpful. Other giants might be helpful. If you're trying to figure that out, give me another monster lore.
That's also success. Barely.
See how clipped his toenails are? Those are the well manicured feet of a helpful giant.
He just got a mani petty.
You think, based looking at this giant, or at least his feet, that this might be a Vridjoten, or Vidrodjoten, however the you say that consonant salad. And you get the general idea that the remember something about these giants being predominantly good, like they can they're nature giants and they spend quite a lot of time asleep, but they're not known to be violent or murderous without provocation.
Okay, well, I'm not going to provoke him because I'm going to gently wake him, and I do plan on offering some of my rations as a good.
Just out of curiosity, have you explained your monster lore theories to the rest of us before you move to wake him up?
I'm going to turn around and say, guys, it's a good guy giant. At least I'm pretty sure he is.
If you didn't say, I'm pretty sure he is, you should have just.
Okay, well, I don't want to. I'm not a liar.
Well, you're not lying. You're just saying.
This giant is the
college. That's all.
the size of a storm hall for anybody who wants to know how big he is.
The SOB up and take our chances. Get your running shoes ready.
I turn around and I say, "Hail and well met, my dude."
For saying my dude,
my royal dude,
you get stepped on just for saying my dude. All right, let's see.
I'm trying to keep it like business casual.
So you have to keep like shaking his foot and talking to him for like
Hail.
5 minutes before he finally snorts and wakes up, and he sits up, kind of pushing the branches aside and looking around. And he goes, "Oh, small visitors. I haven't seen any in a long time." Sounding kind of like a kindly old man, but very, very sleepy.
What be ye, friend or foe?
As I think this might be a dream still. I'm friends with anything that I dream. He kind of
I hold my hand out.
He kind of pokes you in the chest with one finger, but not hard at all for him, but it kind of rocks you a little. It doesn't hurt. He's just, big dude, so it kind of moves you when he.
We are trying to verify existence.
Would a handshake be a proper greeting?
He can't really shake your hand, but because
Do you shake the hand of a millipede?
he kind of looks What do these dream creatures? What message do you carry?
We seek your aid, O Great One.
Aid?
We are trying to leave the forest.
Ah, I too am lost in this forest. But I thought that I would lay down and have a nap in this nice moss bed that I've built.
It looks like quite a nice bed.
Indeed, and I am full after having eaten a dozen elk.
A dozen elk? I can only eat 11.
Really? Where does one as small as you store such quantities of meat?
I may not look like it, but I can eat quite a bit. And I give a rambunctious laugh. I go, ha ha ha.
Very well. So you seek out of this forest. I don't plan to leave myself. I plan to lay down here and take me a nap. If any of you are tired, you may share the moss bed.
What time of day is it right now?
It's like midday.
What was that?
It's like midday.
Oh. I would love to use a chance to be a little spoon for once, but
That's like a tiny spoon.
I want to be a teaspoon.
He yawns and starts stretching and says, "Oh, I'm sleepy. There's nothing to entertain me. I should take a nap."
Oh shit! That's my time to shine, guys. You like juggling?
Yes, gesturing. Da, da, da.
Who's got a better entertainment skill?
I'm
I've
gonna
got
get
a 13 under playwright and a 9 under storytelling.
Spin via yarn.
Let's see.
I
There
can try to
once was a
spin a
man
yarn.
from Nantucket.
There once was a vampire named Mabel. Um, we won't continue that one though, because that one gets bad. Let's see. Yeah. So you've got a total playwright skill for your storytelling of 13. So go ahead and give me a roll, sir. Try to roll under your 13.
Assuming I can keep the dice on the table, an 11.
Okay. You start to tell him a story, and his ears kind of perk up, and he pays attention to you. So he's like, "Tell me another story."
What's the story about?
This billionaire who meets a very young lady, and they
And they have several fine children, and then he meets another young lady, and they have several fine children. Then he meets another young lady and has another fine child, and then he becomes president of the United States.
actually I was thinking more along the lines of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh,
I picked up on it. I kind of
Yeah.
saw where you were going.
Thank you. Yeah, Chris tells him his bad / fake.
ugh.
The Giant's like,
He tells him a
could
terrible.
you think you could do something where you ship some Star Wars characters? Get me out of this
I don't care about
adventure.
it.
He tells him the worst fan fiction ever, known as The Last Jedi.
Oh,
This is my Chewbacca Greedo story.
oh my God.
No, it's a Chewbacca Porg story.
Oh boy.
All right,
Forbidden
well,
love.
I'm bad. I feel terrible that I started this gag. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
Anyway, so
God
what
almighty.
did you get on your second roll?
A long time ago.
I don't know. Let me roll it and I'll tell you.
Okay.
That, however, did not succeed. That was a 19 for a 13.
You son of a gun.
All right. He starts to yawn and says, "Do you have a better story? Try again."
Your story has become tiresome.
All right, so 50 Shades or Last Jedi is out. So
Clytus, I'm bored.
we're gonna go back to 50 Shades of Grey with a 12 for 13.
50 Shades
Okay.
Darker.
Yeah.
He gets a little more awake. Try one more, as he's starting to get awake and entertained by your stories.
13 out of 13.
Wow,
So
this
13
really
out of
is
13.
this really is the third in the trilogy. We're
All right, so
barely hanging
50
on to
Shades
that.
Forever.
he gets fully awake and he looks at you.
Oh, thank God you said
Ah.
awake, Jeff. I was getting scared.
A rat.
He gets fully what?
we were transitioning into the shadow of the demon lord, you know.
Robert Schwab stops in. I like where this game is going. Continue.
Anyway, so he gets fully awake. He goes, "Oh, so you are real, and this is not a dream. Interesting.
Isn't life just a dream?
Sometimes."
Not a very
So-
good one. I demand a recount or a rewrite.
He looks at you and he says, "My name is Barkbull, little ones. Who be ye?"
I am Kinnear.
I'm Magnus.
I'm Joran.
I'm that guy that can't pronounce his name.
Thuriel.
There you go.
There you go.
Some dude just some mystical ceiling voice just says that. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Could you imagine? All right.
Oh, we're going to hell.
Let's ask where we're. I'll lean over whoever's standing next to me. Shall we ask where we are? What more he can tell us about this place?
If you can share some information.
Well, it's probably going to be best to go with the elf or the half troll, because any of you guys who don't speak I should have mentioned this earlier, but any of you guys who don't speak Ica, which is Elvish, or Bashjamal, Yamal, do not understand him, because he is speaking in alternating between Elvish and Trollish. But since he's getting the story from the elf, he's speaking in Elvish.
Hey, the elf came in handy. What do you know?
Yeah, weird.
So, do you know where about in this forest we are?
He speaks to you, and his dialect is very old. So give me a roll on your mother tongue, Ica.
Uh, 12 out of 11.
Oh no!
Okay, so you get bits and pieces of it, but actually, yeah, we'll give it close enough. He's not quite that bad. You understand him, but his dialect is so archaic that you just kind of have to think about it a little bit to get it.
Mhm.
He tells you that we are in the forest of Wildheart.
Did any of us really believe this to be a real place?
Not really.
I think it's on the world maps. Like people,
It is on the world map, but
Oh, it actually does
Yes.
exist.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like some fantasy enchanted forest that people
Okay.
talk about over the fire. Like it's a real.
Gotcha.
People know it's there. They avoid it.
they just avoid it like the plague.
Apparently, for a damn good reason.
All right. So, do you ask him anything about the forest? Because he's awake and he wants to take a nap, so he's only awake for so much.
Yes. What can he share with us about the forest?
Wait, are we talking about the giant or you, Jeff? I lost track there for a second.
The giant.
Answer that.
Um, I took a nap this afternoon, so I'm awake.
Okay. You have to ask the giant.
I did not. There was a 2-year-old present.
The giant says, "Ah, you wish to know the legend of this forest. There once was a man who carried a seed to a forest. It was the only seed of copper oak in all of Trudvang. This particular type of forest grew only in the part of the land where the man came from. There the forests were living beings, and their wisdom was a source for innermost magic. After a long journey in the new land, a man came to a place that reminded him of his homeland. It was its rock-filled soil smelled the same. Its cold, fresh winds blew with the same power. And the mountains that towered in the west had the same beautiful lines as the mountains that he carried in his heart. In this place he sowed his only seed of copper oak. He named the forest Wildheart after his father. For thousands of seasons, Wildheart kept its secret, as most forests do. At its leisurely pace, it watched the world pass by. Heroes came and heroes went, and the oldest trees in the forest became older and older, without anyone really noticing. The dwarves came one after another, and burial cairns were raised between mighty tree trunks. The suppressed and the religious were driven into the shadows of the forest. There statues and temples were raised for new gods, and there powers of dark and light were called upon. But nothing seemed to faze Wildheart. The forest watched as everything faded away to become one more of the many memories it carried. But then came the day when Wildheart got a taste for blood, dragon blood. In the past, the forest had been beautiful to behold. The wanderers who walked its paths were full of wonder over the grandness of the forest and swore by its beauty. Loneliness turned Wildheart hard, and the blood that ran down into its soil wore down into its dreams. Just like the ocean's waves wear down the edges of the cliffs, with the blood came greed and hatred. With these two came evil and bitterness. One fed the other, and Wildheart grew stronger and stronger on that which brought to its borders. If you dare to venture here, for long as the inhabitants of the East can remember, the myth and enigma of Wildheart has grown ever stronger. That's the wrong one. Damn it. Where is it? Why is it titled The Legend when it's not? Okay, yeah, he relays you the information about Wildheart and its origins, and it's been here forever in that story. He tells you that he is trapped in the forest, as you likely are, for no matter which way he walks, he is always in the forest, no matter how long he walks. That Wildheart holds its souls close and does not let them go.
Hmm.
Well, that is not exactly a comforting legend.
It is not. He tells you that in his time here, he has learned, or at least heard, that secrets are required to get out of the forest.
Secrets?
The secrets are required to get out of the forest, and that his learning has brought to his attention that at least 4 are needed, though he does not know the exact number.
Has he uncovered any of these secrets already?
I know some of the questions, but not the answers.
Well, some of the questions is more than we know. Would you be willing to share that information?
I would be more than willing in exchange for you to stay and entertain me a while.
What is your definition of a while?
Hmm.
I
Good
would
question.
say until the sun goes down.
Kind of look at my companions. Sounds like we need this information.
Yeah, Jorn agrees.
He tells
I agree.
you the very well. So as you will stay, I will give you the information I have promised you. One of the questions I know is, who is the warrior of death?
Who is the warrior of death? Does that ring like any kind of bells with us?
No.
So absolutely just off the wall.
I think we should be taking notes. Actually,
Yeah.
I want to start.
Someone should be noting this.
Hang on. So secrets.
The first one he mentions that he knows the question to is, who is the warrior of death? Let me know when you're ready for the next one.
Okay, ready.
The second is, why are the paths longer than they are short?
Okay.
And those are the two that he knows. You guys have any other questions for Barkbowl?
Jordan is gonna say, so no amount of walking will yield the edge of this forest unless we search out these secrets.
And I translate as needed.
Yeah, correct. The only way the Wildheart will only release the souls it has captured if they obtain the questions and answers to at least 4 secrets, possibly more. I do not know the exact amount.
Anybody else got any questions?
No.
He mentions that if you are going to navigate this forest, know that there are trails that lead to specific places. I don't mean like game trails. These are almost magical.
What kind of places do they lead to?
Different places. I only know of one of these trails in specific, and it leads to Runvid's cairn. That's Runvid cairn. Runvid's cairn.
Hey, what in the world is that?
It is a burial site of a dwarven king.
Well, that sounds fun. That sounds like that might at least hold, if not an answer, at least another question.
How do you spell that? Runvid.
Runvid.
A dwarven king.
Yes.
Okay. Some interesting developments here.
Is anyone going to ask the logical next question?
How do we find the trails?
Different beings know different trails. They could be anything from a pine cone to a poem.
Wait, the beings could be a pine cone, or the trail could be a pine cone?
The trail Could be anything from a pine cone to a poem.
That confuses the hell out of me.
There's another obvious question here someone should ask.
Well, if we don't ask it, it's our loss.
I'm thinking here.
I was going to ask what dangers are in the forest, but you could also ask what other beings are in the forest.
There are many kinds of trolls in the forest. There are different kinds of worms or dragon spawn. There are undead here or there, and then of course there are all the animals of nature.
Is there anything about the forest that we should know? Anything we need to be wary of, or anything that, like, there's not a plant that's going to eat us, is there? None of these trees are actually alive, are they?
Not that I have encountered. By the way, he told you he did have a trail, but you know.
Oh. Well, you said he has a trail?
Yeah, he told you he has a trail to Runvid's cairn. That's when you asked me to. Yeah.
Will he show us the trail?
Will you show us the way?
I can share the trail with you. The trail is a poem. You must recite it, and then as you walk in the woods, and it will lead you to the cairn. The poem is as follows. For all there is to wonder, let me know when you're done with your notes. I'll go to the next line.
Oh, I'm supposed to be writing this. All right, hang on.
Well, someone should be taking notes because
I've been taking a lot of notes. I just didn't know
Yeah.
I was going to have to write the poem. So give me a sec. For all there is to wonder.
how the beard grew and the treasures he spread.
Okay.
He who did things others could not believe.
Okay.
The trails to Runvid's cairn, cold hammer lead.
Cold hammer, as in cold temperature and then hammer.
Yes.
Is that one word or two?
One.
Is the C capital? Does it sound like he emphasized the C?
Yes, the C is capital.
Okay. And my dog is going to eat my character sheet later.
Your dog is eating your character sheet?
He's going to eat it later with these notes. We're going to get lost in the forest forever.
We lose the secret, damn.
We lost it all.
All right. Actually, the cool thing is that Joran, in his map making kit, has parchment and writing. Now, I don't think it would be like ink. I think it's more like charcoal or,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like he has writing and sketching implements in the map making kit. So it's not unrealistic that he would have been able to transcribe some of this.
Except he can't write, so you would have given it to the
Oh, yeah.
dim walker who can write, who would
You're right.
transcribe it.
I forgot that that's such an obvious part of this. Yeah, he could barely express himself in his mother tongue because he's mostly been in the wild. So
Yeah.
he would have provided somebody more intelligent than he was with the writing implements from his map making kit.
Yeah.
And some parchment.
Yeah. Gotta love games that don't assume that you can read and do higher math.
So no finding the derivatives today?
No multiplying or dividing.
What do you mean I can't solve for X?
Yeah, quadratic equations are right out. We're talking about these guys can't multiply or divide.
I must
Long
now
division.
cry.
Why? Because you can't do math?
Exactly. Math is impotent.
Your mouth is impotent.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so he shares some stories, and he's an interesting fellow, a kindly old man of a giant. Um, he's quick to laugh and likes to share stories. So your time staying and entertaining him is fairly enjoyable. Um, when the sun starts to go down, he again makes the offer for you to share his moss bed, which is plenty large enough for you guys to sleep safely and not have to worry about him, rolling onto you or anything.
Probably a good idea to wait until morning to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you
With,
can wander around blindly in the forest at dark.
Ooh, that
Somehow
does sound
it's
inviting.
going to be a really bad idea.
Let's weigh our options.
Sleep next to the guy who could smash everything and eats 11 elk.
12.
12. Our
Oh yeah,
companion
12.
ate 11.
That's right. You're
A
the one
full
who ate
solid
11.
9.
You're the,
Yeah.
you're
Very
the
small elk, okay?
you're the slacker who ate 11 elk.
I thought we were talking about elk peeps here.
Jordan's also going to take the first watch because he's completely out of his depth, and he doesn't know what is and isn't magical or dangerous. So the bed of moss is really comfortable, but is there like a sleeping enchantment on it?
No. For those of you who
Good question, though.
sleep on it, you wake in the morning feeling so good that you feel more healthy than you did the night before, although it doesn't give you any bonuses. Had you been injured, you would have healed a d6 points of damage.
Yeah, Joran's plan was to take first watch, make sure that he could actually wake one of his companions, and then the next person could go to sleep. Like we were not all going to go to sleep at once because that could have been dangerous.
Well, yeah, I understand, but I'm just telling you that when you wake up in the morning,
Okay.
you feel way better than you did the night before, and had you been injured, you would have actually healed. So
It's a rare occurrence.
And you guys didn't want me to wake him up. He's a good friend.
of course, this particular type of giant bleeds healing sap and can, make trees grow from dead ground and, all that fun stuff. So, out of game, but
I assume when he falls back asleep, he's still sleeping when we wake up.
oh yeah, he's out.
I make sure I tuck him in nice and tight before we leave.
Yeah, if you guys don't, try to wake him up again, he's going to be out for like the next 3 to 5 years. So
I give him a good night kiss.
you'd have to climb.
I'll climb all the way up and go, "Mwah, good night."
Jordan's going to say, "Hey guys, I think this dude is worth a lot of XP."
Oh no!
Do I get a coup de grace?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that actually. Sneak attack of some sort.
That's terrible.
That's horrible.
Funny.
That's also
terrible.
not how you gain XP in this game, but
Oh no! That's how we gain XP in this game. It may not be how you gain XP in this game.
by all means, murder hobo in this forest.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like years later. We'll happen to just roll one too many natural ones, and you'll be telling the story of that time you ran Wildheart and the PCs played D&D with it.
Yeah. And then, suffered terrible, terrible things.
Yeah, I think I remember reading XP was more survival based, which again, I actually prefer that because
like how in the earlier versions of D&D, you actually got XP off of magic items and money.
Yeah.
As opposed to just punching things in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Simbaroom, it's like 1 XP per scene that you survive, and then I think
it's per challenge. So like anything can be considered a challenge.
That makes sense. I like that.
So talking your way out of something, or just like correctly solving a puzzle gives you XP. I like the way Year Zero does it. They're like, did you do something that did you risk yourself to aid your ally?
I'm sorry, what's that? What game is that?
Mutant Year Zero.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
You could
Yeah,
see
it's
the
like-
influence from Apocalypse World on that one.
Yeah, it's like, did you aid your ally? Yes, gain experience. Did you show
Yeah.
up to the session? Gain experience.
That's like straight from Apocalypse World.
Is it sweet? Did you try and hinder your enemy? Yes, gain an experience point.
So yeah, this one
How
you
much
get
experience do I get for giving the GM a hard time?
Negative. Ah,
but
You're playing with all of our lives.
you lose experience points, not from what you've accrued. You lose so much that you lose from what you were created with. All right, so it's morning. Bark Bull is happily snoring away. You all feel great. What do you do?
Well, I suppose we're going to heed his advice, and I'm thinking if these different paths are the ways to different information to leave here, we should probably start with the first path that we know, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a trail.
Yeah, Jordan's in agreement. The only way out is forward through these secrets. So
I mean, basically the only way out is through, so.
All right, so I'm guessing you guys are gonna pick a direction and say the poem and walk.
yeah, Klaatu,
Yes.
Barata.
I
Well,
said
I
it.
kinda-
There, we're good.
well, I kind of said it. Let's close enough.
Nobody said anything about 3 books. All right.
It's always nice when you have a bunch of people to get the references and you don't have to explain them.
Yes. Dear people, if you're gonna game, learn your pop culture. That's all I'm asking.
And in
All
fairness,
right.
there's really not a lot to learn for a lot of the illusions we use. It's
No.
only like 4 or 5 movies.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
I mean, really, I mean, if you want to hedge your bets, you could get away with about 4 or 5 movies, and that's about all you really need. I mean, yes, it's nice to have a broader scope, but realistically, you could pull off 4 or 5.
I haven't come across any reason to, make things like the walls in the 53rd precinct were bleeding.
I work that in literally anywhere I can. Screw the world. That's my favorite, and I'll use it anywhere I can.
This is important to me, damn it.
Although the one I use in real life most is do something, will you? We're paying for this stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
I miss
Okay.
working for the
If
government.
someone asks if you're a god, you say yes.
So you guys say the poem and then start walking into the woods, and you notice that there's now a rather clear and noticeable path in front of you that you guys can travel along single file.
Oh wow.
I'll nudge our elven playwright and say, or rather ask, so can you write things that move the land itself?
Shit, I wish. I might still be on my island, God. Such was the case.
I know.
So
Not at that.
it's my island. You guys travel for the better part of a day. After about 10 hours of walking along this trail,
If I was traveling with Chris, it can't be the better part of the day. Zing!
you come across a mountain with a bit of a clearing in front of it. And as the woods open up to this mountain, you can see in front of you that there is a moss-covered staircase that leads steeply up to a small opening in the side of the mountain itself. In the shadows of the opening, you can glimpse a heavy-set iron door with great locks.
Hmm. Any writing on it?
You'd have to get closer.
I'll move closer.
All
And then I'll
right.
realize that I'm crossing a clearing by myself, and I'll go take a look around.
I will
Yeah.
realize I just put myself in the open. Shit.
Yeah, this is a pretty small clearing given it, everything. It's about 10 or 15 meters of where the trees back off and you get the mountain coming up.
Gotcha.
All right. So when you guys get close enough up the staircase to be able to see into the shadowed alcove of the door, you can see that there's a rune snake carved into the mountain above the heavily set door.
Hmm. Anything specific?
And who's got
Oh, you're still reading. I'll let you.
the finding or spotting speciality, or the as it says on your sheet, I think it says exploring, although I don't know if Chris's sheet has that in Swedish at that location.
What's the general thing it's under?
It is under, let's see, it's under shadow arts.
I've got
and
exploring.
shadowing. Yeah,
So
exploring is what we're looking for. Yeah.
Okay. I rolled 8 under a 19.
Okay, you can see that there are dwarven runes carved into this rune snake, but you don't read Futhark, so
Does anybody here read that? Can I ask?
does anybody read dwarf? Or Futhark, as it is in this game?
I believe our character who's not here does.
He does indeed.
Oh, damn it.
Question: would this be an okay place to stop in that case?
This would be a very good place to stop unless you guys want to try to get in the door.
I am exhausted.
I'm sorry, I lost the connection for a moment. What happened with the? We were
All right.
asking for exploration. Sorry, I apologize.
We were. He rolled basically the finding and spotting skill. Saw that there was dwarven writing in the rune snake above the door.
Okay.
But nobody reads Futhark, so
Okay.
So the only one that does isn't here.
It's not
Gotcha.
here.
We're
Yeah.
talking about stopping.
And since Aaron is exhausted, and this is a great place to stop because
Well,
the character
that was Mike, not me.
Oh, Mike is exhausted. Sorry. This is a good place to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast.
Okay.